Bright Basketmouth Okocha has been a major force in the comedy world for over 2 decades, with nearly all of his stand-up specials and tours being overwhelming commercial successes, barring a few exceptions over the years. Basketmouth has cemented himself as one of the most successful and beloved entertainers of all time, amassing a fortune of over $10 million. He has the entertainment industry in a chokehold, and although many perceive him as being controversial and edgy comedian, that couldn't be further from the truth. Every single time he ventured into a new realm of the industry, he faced rejection and had to prove himself. And with his back against the wall, he formulated a plan that would be the catalyst to his absolute dominance of the entertainment industry for the past decade. You see, if you're watching this video now, there are 2 things involved. It's either you're subscribed or you're not subscribed. If you're subscribed, you're safe. If you're not subscribed, there are 2 things involved. It's either you plan to subscribe or God will judge you. If you plan to subscribe, please subscribe and be safe. If God will judge you, there are 2 things involved though. It's either you make heaven or you make hellfire. If you make hellfire, you are safe. If you make heaven... So you think you're gonna make heaven? Yeah? They play. Many of you got your first introduction to Basketmouth through the Night of a Thousand Laughs or the 2 Things Involved show as a stand-up comedian, even though he never saw himself pursuing this career initially. In 1990s Nigeria, the idea of making career out of comedy was visually unheard of. Back then, the only motivation to join the entertainment industry was either acting or maybe music. However, Bright got an opportunity to see through the windows of stand-up comedy when his senior brother's friend Alhaji came across him storytelling with his homies and asked if he had seen the stand-up special Eddie Murphy's Delirious. To Bright, Murphy was just an actor he saw in movies like 48 Hours and Coming to America. Witnessing his curiosity, Alhaji offered to give him the VHS tape, hoping he would return it the next day after watching. But instead, Bright came back and requested more time, which he later ended up holding the tape for more than 2 weeks because he was so excited about how Eddie Murphy performed on the show. This was like his first time witnessing someone telling a joke for a living and making a living from it. He studied the show, watching Murphy's timing and how he performed. He returned the tape and was left with the memory of what he watched. However, this was just a make-I-go-watch random event that Basketmouth witnessed. In fact, his name wasn't even Basketmouth then. His name was Lyricist. You see, growing up, Bright's family was more in the grace-to-grass situation. Being the middle child of 7 kids, he witnessed his dad go from being a wealthy contractor to not having much again apart from putting food on the table. He started finding out about this when his mom began selling strips of fabric she bought and sew them and sell as full CCR to those who couldn't afford the full yard in Ashwani Market, Lagos State. His late eldest brother sold him and his brother the dream of hustling in the entertainment industry. He was a DJ and introduced him to foreign music, which was where Bright got inspiration from different artists, most especially the Wu-Tang Clan. Bright attended United Christian Secondary School in Apapa, Lagos State. UCSS is an average school in a great environment where Bright studied different subjects but was very good at one particular skill, heckling. Alright, it wasn't a subject but he was very good at it. You might know it by different names like yabbing, passing, trash talking, or bad mouthing.
And when I look at you, it reminds me of Naruto because I saw Naruto from your head to your toe.
Bright found himself becoming the king of heckling right from his JSS1 up until the time he finished. He was paid multiple times by his fellow classmates to win a heckling battle for them.
So people will have a verbal fight, then they'll come and pay me 5 naira to come and fight for them. So I'll go to, yeah, you see me, I walk into the class and everybody's like, yeah, Bright, don't come. I say, who the yab you? Who the yab you? To point the guy. I'll just have to yab the guy. Set the guy to pieces. And
bear in mind at this time, in 1993, Bright had never seen comedy as a career that even existed. In fact, he felt everyone around him was funny.
Comedy was there, I never knew. And I thought everybody was funny because my friends were all funny. Okay. So when I sit down with them, we're all laughing.
The only thing that gave his life purpose at this point was his dream of becoming a rapper. The Psychopath was a 7-member rap collective formed by Bright alongside his elder brother Godwin in 1994-1995, bearing the name Lyricist. This was the first movement he made on embarking on his career as a rapper, but they didn't drop any material because the group was short-lived. This was around the time they finished their secondary school and it wasn't looking like their path was going to continue. When Bright and his brother got admitted into the University of Benin, the group got disbanded due to lack of communication, and most of the Psychopath members left the country. They came together and decided to call themselves The Odds. In 1996, Bright and his brother Godwin were doing everything to change their status as upcoming artists to a well-known rap group. They would join rap groups in the University of Benin, go for small shows, and do anything within their power to get their name heard or seen. The only way they could get cheap beats was through DJ mixtapes, and that was where his connection with DJ Jimmy Jat became helpful and stronger. Bear in mind, all this while, Bright still hadn't seen comedy as his escape from his broke reality. The only comedy skill that still up to them looked like he could take up the career was his heckling skill. Plus, Uniben self wasn't just any university go come they do anyhow or yap people anyhow. Them fit change them for you. He was broke, sad, and his music career wasn't getting him close to gaining any relevance to his name. It even got worse when he and his brother with their rap group got booed on stage during a performance at a show in Uniben. They never knew they were getting booed because the beat was rhyming with the booing off stage. When Bright found out, he got mad at seeing people mock him on stage, so he started to heckle and trash talk everyone. One of the craziest nights of my life. For like 30 minutes I was with these guys yabbing everybody, so I was insulting the whole school and I won. Because of the trash talking, Bright and his rap group were able to get off stage without the shame of booing from their fellow students. Instead, he ended up getting everyone to laugh because he was very good at throwing shades. After that point, my friend Eno Afugari was like, Bright, don't do rap music for now, do comedy. That's your strength. Dr. Makon, who was Bright's friend from his secondary school days, saw the performance and was amazed.
As they were performing on stage, the crowd, because my university, a very vocal crowd, they were not just enjoying the rap so much at the time, and they were like, so somebody in the crowd just started trash talking them. And I remember, Basketmouth picking on the guy like, hey, you can't trash talk me, because he was with the mic, and he just started trash talking this guy. And then from that point, everybody just started laughing. Like everybody started laughing, and it just stopped the music. The music just pretty much stopped the performance, and it was now a stand-up comedy thing. And he just started yabbing this guy, and some other guy would, throw something at him, then he would look at the other guy and yab the other guy. And it was so funny. Even the guys that were being trash talk were laughing and rolling all over the place. When I saw that performance, I was like, dude, this is where you should be. Like, just stop. And everybody on the campus after the night after, he just became a star in the campus. Everybody just recognized him.
But somehow, Bryce wasn't convinced if comedy was for him. He probably saw the event as a narrow escape from the catastrophe that had almost befallen them on stage. Eventually, the event made him popular in Uniben. People kinda saw him as the boogeyman who could yab your life out. It was during this moment someone awkwardly told him he had a basket mouth.
When I was done, some guy walked up to me and the guy was like, man, you get basket mouth too. And
who's this guy?
I don't know.
Wow.
The guy just said, man, boy, you get basket mouth. Just walk up past. And I
wonder if that guy knows.
I'm hoping I'm hoping he's alive to see this. Thank you. So when he said that, and I told my guy, I said, man, if I go do comedy, my name's gonna be Basketmouth.
In 1999, at the Ekenwa campus of the University of Benin, Bright took his first bold step towards a comedy career. A show called 300 Men Groove was being hosted, and Bright asked his friend Dotun if he and his rap group could perform, as they typically did. Although Bright was already considering comedy, he couldn't simply abandon his dream and switch gears on his brother, all because he felt it was funny. Earlier, Bright had seen the buzzing stand-up comedian Ali Baba perform at the college, which made him realize that the Eddie Murphy Delirious show he had watched wasn't just a fantasy but a dreamable career path. He found himself in a state of self-consultation, hoping for a moment to test if he could make this dream a reality. They were asked to come for the audition because back then there was no internet, no Facebook, no TikTok profile to prove you are good. Make it no go spoil show. So you had to showcase what you plan to perform during the audition before the main event. They got picked as part of the people to perform in the show. During the show, it turned out that the MC wasn't doing a good job.
But the MC was dead. I'm sorry, but the guy was so dry, and he wasn't holding the show down well.
The crowd was upset. I told Dotun, who is still my manager, I can do this better. He spoke to the show promoter, who had doubts as I was built to perform as a rapper, but he didn't have anything to lose as the audience was increasingly annoyed by the MC. So he gave me 5 minutes and I ended up doing 45 minutes. I did so well telling the silly little jokes that the audience kept hitting their desks in excitement.
That was the first time, really and truly, that I performed as a comedian in Uniben.
And how was the acceptance? Landslide.
It was
if 100% was the highest,
You had like 120.
1 billion.
Oh my god.
The best feeling ever. So because it was like the hall has like tables in front. You know how that place is.
Yeah.
So when they laugh to the point, they would start hitting the table. They would laugh and hit the table. So I didn't know what was happening. It was my first time hitting the table. I was like, and I realized that them hitting the table means that they love you.
This was the moment Bright was looking for to fully acknowledge himself that comedy was his true calling. His performance became widely popular in school. The next day, as my friend and I got to a restaurant to eat, people kept walking up to me saying, "Bright, you killed it last night," because we had an outstanding performance as a rap crew and I entertained the crowd as a comedian. I even had someone pay for my food, which felt so good because I didn't have enough money to feed myself then. However, not everyone in Uniben accepted him with open arms, most especially the Arrow Boys. For clarity, Arrow Boys is the nickname for the boys hostel inside Uniben, especially the Hall 2 and Hall 3 block. If you attended Uniben, nobody need tell you say make you avoid Arrow Boys. To the extent this acronym became an anthem. Thou shalt not pass the walkway between Hall 2 and Hall 3 if you no get liver. They were notorious for their trolling, body shaming, stealing, cultism. You don't even have a choice. It's either you join them or you avoid them for the rest of your academic session in Uniben. And because of this, they have a reasonable ratio of who they think deserve to be popular in Uniben or not. If our boys do not like you, best believe you will find it difficult to become popular in Uniben. They were skeptical about Bright's sudden rise and ceased to care. They said until he could come to their common room and make them laugh, that was when they can certify him as a comedian in Uniben. To Bright's friend, they saw this as a suicide mission and urged him to ignore the call. But Bright ignored their warning and accepted the challenge. He probably predicted that if he could survive that event, it could go a long way to solidify and boost his name as a comedian in school. When the day came, the Arrow Boys were prepared to boo and trash talk him into quitting his newfound passion. But shockingly, Bryce held down the event for more than 2 hours, heckling and lashing out on every single person in the room till he became the last man standing.
So I was like, where the stage? They're saying that middle. So you're in the middle, everybody around you, they are all there to insult your life.
Damn.
So I was like, okay, now let's do this. It was time to call me up on stage. I got on stage before I even said how far. I said, we die here. Dude, 2 hours or more.
You went on for 2 hours?
Yeah.
That's
anybody that you, if you did, yeah, comment, you know.
That's a whole Netflix special.
Yeah. We were fighting ourselves verbally. And I won.
Yeah, you had to. You had to.
It got to the point, maybe like 1 hour in, they reduced the heckling.
Yeah.
Like 1 hour, 30 minutes in, I was now the one looking for who to blast.
Defeating a booing crowd on stage, taking over an MC at a big event, and winning a battle against the Arrow Boys. These 3 main events helped solidify Bryce's position as an MC comedian in Uniben. He debuted the Ulysses name and referred to himself in the 3rd person as Basketmouth. He had officially chosen the comedian career and was ready to do anything to leave his mark, not just in Uniben but also in the Nigerian entertainment industry. From 1999 to 2001, Bright mentally did a 180-degree turn, going from an unknown rapper to a fully focused and determined young man obsessed with making it in comedy. Seeing Alibaba as the front runner of the direction he wanted to go, he decided to do anything in his power to get recognized by him. He didn't want to take the easy route of going to look for him, so he wanted his talent to speak for itself. Bright started performing in small shows hosted by departments, faculties, and school award shows. He needed the school show coordinators to notice his relevance, and it worked. They invited him to a show where Alibaba was going to be a special guest at the main auditorium at Uniben. He managed to impress him, and Alibaba gave him his pager number, asking him to link up whenever he came to Lagos. Basketmouth started making waves. As I said before, there was no internet. Even MTN Cell just arrived in Nigeria. The only way you could get updated on what was going on in the entertainment industry was through magazines and news outlets like Hint Magazine and Global Excellence. Bright would take night buses every Friday from Benin to Lagos with his friend Bayo Adekeye, who became his first manager, and they'll go look for MC or stand-up comedy gigs to perform. He also started hosting shows in Uniben. Before this time, while he was still an upcoming rapper, he connected with bubbling artists like Two-Face of the Plantation Boys, Dr. Fresh, and Tony Totwilo of the Remedies. So seeing he found something that worked for him, they began to link him up. He started opening up for the Plantation Boys on any show they had. Tony Totwilo helped him secure his first big gig at the show as Shell Company, where his supposed performance fee was 10,000 naira, but Tony pushed them to pay him 30,000 naira. All this connection he created while in school made it easy for him to transition from being an upcoming uniband comedian to officially taking up the career. When he was done with school, it was time to fully focus on building his name as a brand. But little did Bright know how hard this stage was going to be, because what he was about to face would be the ultimate price he would pay to get closer to achieving relevancy in the entertainment industry. Before he relocated back to Lagos, he and his friend Bayodeke tried to create a show called Laugh and Jams in Uniband. It was a show made to entertain people with comedy and trendy music. The idea was to mix up comedians and musicians in one show. This show was meant to be his major buzzer before he graduated, but the anticipation was cut short. There was a protest in school in the year 2000 that led to the total shutdown in Uniband. So they had no choice but to pocket back their idea. Back in Lagos, he tried linking back with Alibaba, which was a good idea. His connection with Alibaba played a serious role in his growth. Alibaba helped him land gigs he could not have otherwise gotten. He performed at concerts like Hanging with the Boys at Fantasyland Ikoyi, the Motherland Friday concert by Labaja, which I think led to his cameo appearance in the Labaja's popular song Gra Gra.
Cuckoo go radio, say you be carpenter. Baby, no do gra for me.
He also performed at the Muson Festival by Femi Kuti. However, you might be thinking this was when Bright's name started becoming a household name in the industry, but you're wrong. Not many people actually knew the name Basketmouth. They probably saw him as one of Alibaba's boys or the guys who opened for the Plantation Boys. Not many show coordinators or companies could offer him gigs without a shortcut from the top dogs in the game. The show offers on the table were ones he had to do for free or for small paycheck just to get seen or heard. He didn't have a choice. He tried doing a couple of things to build his name, like his first show in 2002, Humor Unlimited. He also got an opportunity at Fantasyland Ikoyi to re-establish the Laugh and Jam show he wanted to host in Uniband. But none of these establishments were strong enough to leave his mark on the industry. The Humor Unlimited show barely even sold out. To make matters worse, his Laugh and Jam show, which was kinda successful for a while, the show was hosted every last Saturday of the month for like 2 seasons, featuring top artists we know today who were at the time still up and coming. Unfortunately stopped due to lack of funds and sponsorship. He found himself yet again faced with another obstacle of proving that comedy was his true calling. It was time for a rebrand. You see, during the early 2000s, comedy in Nigeria was more or less in a stagnant position. Not many waves were being made. The people who were doing better had been in the business for a while, like Alibaba, Julius Sago, Okebakazi. There was no comedy club. Comedy shows were just a few gatherings. The only thing that gave comedy relevancy was the Night of 1,000 Laughs show by Opa Williams. From 2005 to 2010, Basketmouth was in an observation state, like this video of a leopard waiting patiently for an opportunity to make a big catch. He knew the industry was in search of a new movement, something like a glitch, and he wanted to become that glitch.
We needed the glitch. I wanted to be that glitch.
Okay, the disruptor.
Yeah, the disruptor. Just coming. So that's why I quickly I did the dreadlock. I just spoiled things. I was just doing it for fun. Then somebody said, "Bright, if you do this kind of hair, people will not book you." And I love things like that. I was like, they will not book me. Okay, you know what? Let me see if they will not book me.
The Night of 1,000 Laughs show has been a bootcamp that nurtured the top stand-up comedians we know today. On recommendation by Alibaba, he was invited for an audition where he met most of the colleagues we see him working with today, like I Go Die, I Go Save, Buchi, Bovi. I could remember trading volumes of this show's CDs with my neighbors back then.
We men, we don't know the difference for this hair. Hair na hair. You don't ever see where man go home, you say, baby, your hair.
During these defining years, Basketmouth and his team launched his one-man stand-up comedy concert tagged Basketmouth Uncensored, a show that reached every form of success. The show, held at the 4,000 capacity Expo Hall, witnessed 4 years, 2005 to 2009, and each of the installments was a sold-out concert. He won the Best Comedian of the Year in 2003-2004, Virgin Atlantic Award for the Best Comedian in 2005, and the 2006 Best Comedian The Future Award. He was sharp, mind-driven, he kept his top materials on check, waiting for the best moment to strike. With a new look and dreaded hair, his persona as this funny, mean Ajibaku comedian earned him lots of steals to stand out.
All I needed to do was to be better at what I do, and let's see what's gonna happen.
2008, Accra Conference Center at the Night of 1,000 Loud Show Ghana edition. This was the place where Bright Okpocha's career officially kicked off globally. It was at this show he performed the two things involved joke. Before the show, Bright felt underestimated. The show coordinator didn't agree to pay him the amount he requested as usual. But this time it was different because for Bright, his focus was no more on the money, but on making his name stand out. This was probably his first show in Ghana, and he knew he needed to deliver his best performance, which he did outstandingly.
You see, in this life we live, there are two things involved. It's either you're a man or you're a woman. If you're a woman, you are safe. But if you're a man, there are two things involved. It's either you're a civilian or you're in the military. If you're a civilian, you are safe. If you're in the military, there are two things involved.
This material will be considered by fans to be his best still to this day.
Just like two things involved. I have not been able to recreate a material like that. It was a blessing.
Plus, this was the beginning of the internet era in Nigeria, so the show was uploaded on YouTube and began trending. At first, Bright didn't like that the material was uploaded, but before he could push to take down the video, he started getting calls from different parts of the world. Show promoters wanted a piece of him.
So when I got on stage, I went there with everything I had. I was like, you know what? I need to deliver. And immediately I finished that performance. Even before I started, the place was already, and I got off stage. The video came out on YouTube. Someone called me and said, that one show you did in Ghana is on YouTube. I was like, really? I went, I watched it. I was like, man, but they didn't take my permission. So I wanted to strike them. But I thought about it, I was like, no, this is a good performance. Because to be honest, I do not like my materials to go on YouTube because that means you can't say them again.
Right.
So when I looked at it, like, this is a classic. It shouldn't just waste like that. But at the time I was contemplating it, I had gotten a call from South Africa.
Wow.
I like, you know what, let this video stay there.
So he left the video, but instead used that opportunity to grab the African entertainment industry by the balls and make it his. He decided to change his image and kickstart his third time reinventing himself. Baron World Entertainment was the name of the company Basketmouth formed with his friend Baya Dekia while they were still in Uniband, but it got registered and was fully active from this point in time. Bright's goal was to make himself the main brand of not just comedy but entertainment as a whole. During this time in May 2007, Tunde Adewale TA was the only Nigerian comedian who has successfully hosted a one-man comedy show at home and most especially abroad in London, where he rocked and shared the stage with most of the top Nigerian comedians, including Basketmouth. I believe this show made Bright notice the hunger for African shows and entertainment gathering by Nigerians and Africans who lived abroad. So he made plans to take full advantage of that opportunity, given his name was now popular thanks to the two things involved video uploaded on YouTube. He created accounts on all available social media platforms: Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Instagram. He was among the pioneers of skit making in Nigeria, but they mainly used it as marketing strategy for selling tickets.
They don't catch me. They don't catch me. They say if they don't come to show, they're not going to release me. Which show? Lot of the ribs.
Baron World Entertainment collaborated with Coco Bar, a company developed by Ropo Akin, to create a hub for live entertainment for Africans in the UK and for African artists to extend their brands there too. So check it, Basketmouth and his crew came up with this wild plan to blow him up big time, not just in Nigeria or the UK but worldwide. Feel me? It was like he was running his own little empire, kinda like how Apple got all these different gadgets. Basketmouth cooked up 5 different comedy shows: Basketmouth Uncensored, Nigerian King of Comedy, African King of Comedy, Lord of the Ribs, and The Son of Peter. But peep this, he was the main man in all of them. To folks watching, it looked like my guy was everywhere doing different things, but really, it was Basketmouth playing the game smart. He got big names like Glow, GT Bank, Diamond Bank, and Guinness to back him. Suddenly, Basketmouth's face was all over African comedy. You couldn't miss him. These shows weren't just about laughs though. He brought in funny people and musicians from all over Africa. It was like getting a full package deal, you know. This also kept him coming up with fresh jokes all the time. His biggest hit, Lord of the Ribs, packed out Wembley Arena in 2017. That's like 12,500 people or more. And Basketmouth Uncensored, straight fire. One of the best things he's ever done. A mixture of annual tour and most periodic runs kept the show consistently renewed for fans, just as companies release new product lineup period. periodically. In 2016, he partnered with Kayode Peters and relaunched the TV show My Flatmates, formerly Flatmate, which he was a part of back then in 2001 to 2003. The show was formerly a sitcom shown on AIT alongside Superstory, but was short-lived due to a partnership problem Kayode had with his partner. The same series was commissioned by African Magic, and the first episode was released on March 6, 2017, and is still running on its 8th season this year. On September 2018, he went on tour with the Canadian comedian Russell Peter, where he opened for him at the DAR Constitution Hall in Washington, D.C., which was the same place where Eddie Murphy's Delirious was shot in 1983. Imagine standing on the same stage performing as a comedian where you once watched your first comedy show on video as a child. Wow.
Basketmouth just played this
venue, right?
DAR Constitution Hall. Do you know what was filmed here, Basket?
Delirious. I heard.
Yes.
I heard the story.
And you know what you had them doing with their laughter? You had them delirious. That's correct.
Yeah, that's delirious.
Basketmouth, Okpocha Bright, has now conquered America.
Amen.
And
thanks to you.
But this was only the beginning. The real takeover was about to begin when he started his production company, the Zing Network. But before I get into that, there is something very important to consider. Over the span of what was now 20 years in the Nigerian entertainment industry, even though Basketmouth was on what looks like a solo journey, he was making these moves with his friends from day one. If you've noticed, there haven't been any change of names or any drifted move being made without his day ones involved. This loyalty he had with his friend, I think, added up to why he was able to maintain his relevancy till date. Even some of the show he was able to host outside Nigeria were collaborative effort between him and his day one homies. Like for example, Item 7, who was among the members of the Psychopath group but relocated to Europe, co-hosted the Basketmouth Uncensored show in Prague and Vienna. It's like a cartel activity. Buchi and Bobby has been his day one comedian friends. Boy Adeke and his brother Godwin have a share in his company Baron Entertainment. Dr. Malcolm took over Bayo Adeke as his manager. Sometimes when friendship is done perfectly, conquering the world could be the least of your problems. However, something happened in 2019 that made people start questioning if Basketmouth's ego was starting to self-sabotage. All the way back in 2014, Basketmouth posted a joke on Facebook talking about a second date with a woman and she's still not giving him sex. His punchline was that his partner should arrow-word the lady. The joke, however, did not go down well with many people, especially the female fans. They demanded that he take down the post immediately and also apologize. At first, Bright turned a deaf ear to the comments. He felt it was just a joke and didn't see why people should take it seriously.
The thing is, it's a joke. Do you understand? It's just a joke. I'm not celebrating rape. I'm not saying people, it's just a joke. Do you understand? And they wanted to just kill me, And I'm sorry about it. Honestly, I am sorry about it. But I tried as much as possible not to let it consume my creativity. Because if I start saying, oh, you cannot talk about this, because honestly, everything...
So you don't think there are some topics that should be untouchable?
The thing is that there shouldn't be any topic that is untouchable. It's a joke. Do you understand? I crack jokes about my own death. Do you understand? And people laugh about my death.
This was a time when people were very sensitive about issues like this because Nigeria was in a critical climate due to the Boko Haram era, and cases like this were among the major crimes that came up during this period. For example, 4 months after this post, a major heartbreaking news happened when the Chibok girls were kidnapped and held hostage. We all know how the story ended and the condition they left those girls when they were finally released. Come to think of it, 2014 was a hot season for celebrities. P-Square Suits first started that year. Muhi's separation began the same year. Go and check out the video, it's nice, very nice. Basically, this was the same situation Basketmouth was facing and he had to apologize. But to be sincere, not many people accepted the apology. Some were skeptical because they felt Basketmouth didn't take the complaints seriously, which was kinda true because Brett even used the backlash as an opportunity to sell tickets for his show.
Happy that joke came out, dude. That thing, that controversy.
Why?
It helped me sell my tickets. I sold out, my show was sold out. Like big time, like we sold out and we sold. That's they're selling standing tickets. That was supposed to be 25. No, there was no standing ticket, but the regular ticket was £25. And because of controversy, the Guardian, the London Guardian carried the story. Everything. They compared me with Jimmy Carr. These guys are like, yeah, nice. And My ticket sold out, and we sold about like 500 to 600 extra standing ticket at £75. Yeah. So I'm looking for another controversy, but definitely not that one.
Yeah, just before we go on to your show.
However, come 2019, 5 years later, the European Union was in a campaign against sexual and gender-based violence, and they listed Bright Okwocha as part of the influencers to advocate for this cause. This led to another outburst of people remembering what happened and going against the European Union for making such a decision, stating that Basketmouth was not fit to represent women and the issues they face. Following the outrage, the EU had no choice but to remove Bright from the list.
It's quite unfortunate that someone of a repute like Basketmouth, he's one of the biggest comedians we have in West Africa, I gotta say. You know, that you use your platform, your monologues and your dialogues to further strengthen what we consider a vice against women. You know, and that's to let you know that the international community are watching. You're not just within the small village called Nigeria. Spotlight's on you. And it's quite sad that the EU had to drop him as one of the ambassadors because you can't speak against what it is you're for. If your work is for this thing, then we can't have you work for us to speak against it.
This whole event and backlash left a huge red stain on Basketmouth's career. Come to think of it, stand-up comedy was on a huge fall in Nigeria. People would rather have comedy on their phone than buy a ticket to a show just to watch someone perform. Skit makers were becoming more relevant than actual stand-up comedians. To make things worse, 2020 came and the pandemic forced everyone to stay home for over a year, which made the show hosting industry, including stand-up comedians, bleed even more. To many of us, this situation should actually be enough to take down Basketmouth. But to Bright Okwocha, it was a normal thing. He wasn't ready for his 20 years career to go down the drain just like that, so he did what he always does. He rebranded himself for the 4th time, but this time not as a comedian but something else. Basketmouth went on what we may look at as a full production and acting spree. In 2020, using his new production company Zing Network, he launched his new TV series Papa Benji, which led to him dropping a soundtrack album to the series called Yabasi, resurrecting his dead musical career. Not quite literally, shall. Did I mention that Bright and his brother Godwin, music duo The Odds, came back to try music again following Basketmouth's fast rise in 2012? They said they are dropping an album but ended up dropping just 2 tracks, with one featuring Wizkid and LD, but we didn't hear anything again. You know what?
Two-Face, Timaya, David O. I've done one with Wizkid already, and LD, and MI, Jesse Jaggs, Ice Prince, Brian for each track.
So this time around, he wasn't the actual musician but more of an A&R, which I won't lie, he did a great job. But if you check him well, funny enough, Basketmouth didn't actually seem to finally land a successful musical career. You get? Following the success of Yabasi in October 2021, he got a recording contract deal with Empire Distribution Company, which led to him dropping his second studio album, Horoscope, in February 2022. To me, this album is his best work out of all the projects he has A&R. It was meant to be a soundtrack of the film Scorpio, but before the album came another TV show, Ghana Jollof, in 2021, which became his first ever showmask series. In September 2022, he starred in the movie Brotherhood. In October 27, 2023, he dropped his third album, Oboro. The truth is, there doesn't seem to be any end to what Basketmouth can or cannot do, even though some people might tend to see him as being egoistic based on his little number of controversies, including the one he had with his colleague AY, which is another story. Basketmouth is determined to outwork anyone who dares to compete with him. None of this success was handed to him. He was not lucky. He came from nothing and had been rejected and failed in every single industry he started in. And instead of wallowing in sadness, he did the opposite. He reshaped and remodeled his image multiple times, developed an incredible work ethic, brings positive energy to everyone around him, and stays out of controversies. Recently in 2023, Basketmouth has returned to comedy, stating he would be retiring from the career in 5 years, making him the comedian with the longest lasting career in Nigerian industry, surviving for over 3 decades and staying relevant with little or close to no controversies. Now at 45 years old, he has created more than a $10 million comedy empire that will continue to work in his favor for years to come, and he built it all with his own 2 hands.